Okay, so I have special guest today. I have the first person who isn't called Joshua on my podcast.
Hi,
Do you want to introduce yourself?
I'm MMIN Aldi Greg's Cosmetology. Literally just call me Aldi. That's like M or Aldi, I don't really care. I have done some tubing stuff, and my name is also not Joshua, so that's pretty awesome. I'm the person who goes to all the Hampshires. I what else have I done? I've done 520 whole souls in competition. That's crazy. Um, uh, Talking about myself is really hard without making me seem egotistical. Whatever, it's fine. Um, yeah, I've done stuff, and I like Aldi. That's my introduction.
You even have it on your profile page, a picture of Aldi.
Yes, that is currently my profile picture, and will be for the foreseeable.
And I've heard that despite your clock success, you don't actually like clock that much.
I oh my god, oh, don't even get me started. I despise clock. Okay, so Hampshire. So let's go through my journey of clock. I started in August, where Hampshire Autumn 2024 was announced, and I was like, oh, it has clock. This is going to be my first clock competition. I may as well get decent at it. Like I want to maybe make finals. It was top 12, so I was like, okay, do this. Um, oh, it's gonna be top 8. Okay, I need to improve more. So I learned 7 simul. Um, but I did just completely choke. I was going for best first average, best first block average, but it just didn't end up happening. I got an 8. It's a low 6 average by Edscoli, but I got an 8.96 average, kind of bad. Um, but then I was like, okay, I do need to improve that. So I practiced more at home, shared some PPs, and I think it was like November. Sophie Gilbert was like, "Hey, you're really close to beating my PPs," and I was like, "Oh my god, okay, wait, she's actually fast, so I'm gonna actually try and do this." Um, I also did get challenged by Caleb Wolf to get a sub 4 average by the end of 2025. So I was like, oh, I have all this motivation. Let's do this. So I grinded to Globe Link sub 5, and then what happened was I had a competition in February, Hampshire Winter 2025, sorry, where I got a 480 average, and it was my best ever ranking and performance in tubing ever. I got um, well, it was sub Sophie by point 0.4 at the time, and it was also my first round podium, and NR16, which was my best ranking up to that point. My best ranking before then was like NR30 something. Finals I choke and I don't podium, and then the next comp, which is spring, I get a 488 average and a 409 single, so I did finally beat Soph single, but I didn't beat my ER average. Oh well. And I DNF second round. It was a DNF, 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 DNF 4.
Oh,
Funny. UK champs. I was like, okay, I really want to make clock finals because that's the only one I could possibly do. Except maybe if I really popped off in one handed, which I didn't. First round, I get a 5.7 average, which was like terrible for me at the time. But I wasn't able to practice because I'd injured my hand leading up to UKC. So I was like, oh, whatever, it's fine. But I noticed 16th in round 1 wasn't even sub 5. So a sub 5 average next round could have done it. And I got a 4.97 average. The problem is that didn't make it in. It came 18th and top 16 made finals. But if it weren't for them bloody foreign, no, I'm kidding. But if it came 16th out of the UK people, but 18th overall, so I just didn't make finals. But we have a silver lining, and it's that my friends popped off. It was actually crazy. So I was was like, okay, whatever, it's fine. I still have Hampshire to get a good clock average, and I realised, okay, time is running out. I don't have many clock rounds left, so I was like, okay, may as well grind clock for Hampshire Autumn so I can get some form quick. So Hampshire Autumn rolls around. Um, everything's like fine leading up to it, and I, oh god. First solve, I get like your average run-of-the-mill clock. Second solve, I did the solve sub 4, but I didn't start the timer, so it's just a DNF. And yeah, that's still really annoying. But it's fine, it happens. It's clock. Clock is a stupid event. And I was like, okay, I have one, maybe two chances, depending on how I do, to get that sub 4 average before the end of 2025. And that was that Wiltshire Winter 2025, so the last UK company year. And solve 1 of round 1, I get a 3.87, so PR, fine, sub 4. Second solve, 409. Again, that's really good. That's on track. Third solve, 368. I was not expecting that.
Another
Like, I
PR.
was expecting, yeah, maybe like a 3.7. Best single. I got a 3.6 somehow. And then solve 4, I could have locked it at that point. I got a 5.24. That was kind of whatever. And then solve 5, Caleb gets NR. So obviously it's a good scramble. So I decide, okay, let's do this. And I get a 3.62, which gets me a 3.88 average. And then next round, I get a DNF, and then a 3, a 5, a 4, and a 3.42 PR single. So I'm pretty happy with that. But if I either didn't DNF the first solve, or if I didn't clock drop on solve 3, it would have podiumed, and I would have beat Caleb, which is fine. But it didn't happen, and I don't want my first podium to be in clock. It's a genuinely terrible event, and I don't know why I decided to practice it for so long. But after Hampshire Autumn, I was like, I don't have fun practicing clock, so I just stopped, and then I get sub 4.
Maybe it's connected. You don't like it or care about it that much, so you do better at it or something.
Yeah, probably something like that.
Because the events that I care about the most, where I struggle to PR.
I mean, I care about Megan quite a bit, and that same day that I got sub 4, I got my first sub 50 officials, and it might have just been that I was just solving well that day.
Yeah, sub 49, yeah, 49.81 average and 45 single. It's insane. And so Mega and Blind are your main events, and OH, right?
Yeah. I mean, OH less so, but I still do enjoy practicing it quite a bit.
I mean, your OH is not that far off your two-handed.
Yeah, that's actually true, and I haven't been able to compete with I haven't been able to compete well in one-handed since April because I obviously injured my hand before UKC. So I definitely could beat those PRs on my next comp. I mean, maybe not single. Single's pretty good, but the average, more than likely.
Considering your speed, you've been to 9 comps, and you're like 16 for clock, which you don't care about for average, and you're pretty high ranking in a whole bunch of events. Why do you not go to that many comps? And how do you do?
Mostly just accessibility. Like, well, Hampshires are pretty close to me, so I go to all of them because they're like a bus ride away, 1 or 2 bus rides away. And worst comes to worst, I can just ask my dad to drop me off, which is like it shouldn't take too long. It's like a 10-minute drive, maybe 20 minutes. I'm not sure. I haven't actually drove there. Or I could get some of my friends' parents to drop me off if my dad's unable to, which is yeah. My parents don't come to me with comps, but I obviously go to all the Hampshires. And then to a Wiltshire as my first in Northern Hampshire because I saw 3 mega rounds and 3 clock rounds, and I was like, oh my god, that's actually pretty cool. I'm gonna go to it. So I went to it, and I'm very happy I did because it meant that I qualified for every non PPQ event at UKC. And then I also went to Chichester April, where I got my first square one in Scube, which also, yeah, helped with qualifications. And then UK Championship was the first comp where I stayed outside of my house. So
Oh.
I stayed with Harry Dixon, and it was really, really fun. We stayed in a kind of place, but it was like really cozy. It was interesting. And then obviously another Hampshire happened, so I could just stay at home for that. And then um, did I mention Chichester?
No.
It's like okay, Chichester. I got there by train. So it was my first time taking the train anywhere. And on the Sunday, trains just didn't exist. So the Waterwan family dropped me off, which is yes, thank you very much. And Wiltshire, the Gilbert family dropped me off. So yes, thank you. And then Wiltshire Winter 2025. This one's funny. I was under the impression that Sophie can probably take me, like Sophie and her family can take me. And like initially she said, yeah, that's possible. And then what happened was Sophie's mum decided, okay, just they're gonna stay over in Wiltshire for because it would be very draining on like Gilbert to compete and drive back on like back and forth.
Yeah.
So what happened was later on Sophie floated the idea of me and Harry paying to stay with the Gilberts in whatever accommodation, and that is what happened. And then come Saturday morning, I leave the house late, so but I leave the house and I walk up to the Gilbert car, and they're like, "Oh, start filming for the vlog, so you can." So there's a surprise in the boot. So I open the boot, and out pops Jake Brown skew gunning me, and I scream quite loudly. But yeah, we had Jake Brown come in and just Jake Brown skew gunning me, and I didn't know Jake was coming, so I was under the impression, it's just me, Harry, and the Gilberts. But no, Jake was also coming with us. We then pick up Harry, and Jake couldn't get in the boot to skew gun Harry. So what happened was they skew gunned Harry through the window. But other than that, it was it was pretty fun. But that's how I got to all my comps.
That's fair enough. I mean, most of my comps have been in Stevenage, and I have to stay over for that, but it's like an hour and a half to take public transport. I just would rather sleep in on the Sunday and have breakfast and then compete. But,
Yeah, I don't. I don't. I enjoy lying, but I'm not someone who will choose it over over staying in my own bed for. I'd rather stay in my own bed for 6 hours than a different bed for 8 hours. Just because, well, at home I know what I can do, and I know, like,
yeah.
There's also this thing where every competition morning I have the same breakfast. I have a cup of tea and a bowl of noodles, and that just gives me really good competition results. I have no clue why, but it just does. So just like, do with that information what you will.
Alright, I think we found the secret to doing well in comp. Okay, and what else did I want to ask about here? Right, so you're the youngest multi-blind specialist, which is interesting because there's multi-blind people are usually the exception in cubing. They're usually older, right?
I mean, yeah, I don't actually have evidence to back up the fact that I am the oldest, but if we look at the rankings, everyone there is like above the age of 18, I think, or like at the very least above the age of 16, and I am not yet. So,
Yeah.
like,
Do you know Akash Jain?
yes, I've heard of him.
I don't know how old he is, but he told me
Yeah,
he was
he's
doing.
quite young, but he's really good. But he does represent Japan, so
Fair enough.
like,
Saved by the passport, by the registration.
yeah, but it's kind of a fake statistic because it's impossible to prove because there could be a 9-year-old not who's not competed in multi or has like a 2 out of 2, but who calls themselves a multi-blind name. But that's kind of
So what are your?
I also haven't competed.
But at home, what kind of stuff are you doing with multi-blind? How many?
I mean, I made multi-blind not too long ago, but I've been doing 16 cube attempts, and my next comp is will be in March, where I would quite like to get above 15 points. I mean, I do 16 in an hour and a bit, so I think if I keep on doing that, I can attempt 17 in under an hour, or at least 15 in under an hour by looks of it. That shouldn't be too hard, I hope.
So how do you get from regular free blind to multi-blind?
Um, I am not the best person to ask for this, but what I did was I was like, okay, I can force out a success if I really, really wanted to. So I was like, okay, just do that with multiple cubes. So I started with 3 cubes, and my first success was I forgot the memo for one of the cubes, but I didn't know which one it was. So I just did one of the memos on both of the cubes, and the other one was solved, and one of the others was solved. So I got a 2 out of 3, and then I was just like, okay, increase the cube count, start using rooms, and suddenly, oh, I can do 16 cube attempts, and yeah, you just like force out a bunch of successes because the time does matter, but like not, not at home when you're trying to push yourself to A, go faster, and B, do more. So you just kind of stick the memo into rooms and try and like safety. Like if you say you've gotten a DNF and 3 successes in an official average, and your last solve, you're like, okay, I don't have an average yet, but this has the potential to be like NR30. So you safety, but you safety in a kind of fast way. Get it?
I think so. I haven't had a blind success in comp yet. I've come close in my last comp. I was like 2 corners off. But did you find blind easy, or is it like you had to work at it for a bit?
It's quite a while ago, but 3-blind, I remember putting off for the longest time because A, I didn't own a blindfold, and B, I didn't have a letter pair sheet, which you really don't need for blind. But I was like, okay, I I've done every cited event in comp. I can now start like seriously doing blinds. I don't know why I decided to wait until I did every cited event until I did a uncited event. But I was like, okay, I knew the basics of OPOP, so I did that. I was like, okay, I can get successes decently commonly now. May as well switch to M2 because faster. So I switched to M2. That was like fine, and I can now force out a success if I really, really need to.
And you're learning freestyle now, you mentioned.
Yeah, but it might take a while. I'm currently making
what I understand, the faster you can execute in blind, the less time you have to forget, and that's kind of a
Yes.
variable in how many cubes you can do as well.
I mean, like you can still remember what you've done for like a good few hours after if you just go in, if you mentally go into that room. Like I know I still remember like my first cube from an attempt from about 2 or 3 days ago. At least the corners and partially the edges. So how long you can store it is not really uh is like not really a factor in multi. I think
I guess if you have, yeah, if you do the rooms approach, if you have good enough letter and stories, you can recall it pretty easy. So, does not having that many comps, does that help you get good at multiple events? If you have lots of time between comps to focus on different events, how do you divide your practice time?
I don't. I practice any event I want to at any time. So if I feel like doing 3x3, I will do 3x3. If I feel like doing Mega Mix, I'll do Mega Mix. If I feel like doing one-handed, I'll do one-handed. But having such space between each comp, it makes me realize, oh, what stuff can I actually do well in? What can I make finals in? What could I possibly podium in? Although I don't have a podium yet, and I mean I might try and go for the best UK keeper without a podium, but that's probably harder than just getting a podium. So I think what I do is I just practice whatever the hell I want. I practice really inefficiently. Don't follow what I do because I just spam solves. Don't do that unless you're doing clock, or multi, I guess. But yeah, you would please do like deliberate practice. Like watch example solves, learn outs, do something that isn't just solves.
So, like, through a week, would you randomly be like, I'm in a mood for 5x5, and then you do a couple of 5x5 solves, and then you pick up a Megaminx and you do a couple of Megaminx solves? Or is it like, for some reason this week I just really want to do Megaminx or 5x5 or whatever it is?
I'll do like whatever the hell I feel like at that time. So, I mean, sometimes if I'm in a race with someone to break a barrier, so, uh, so let's take clock again for an example. I would practice clock a lot more, trying to beat that person in unofficial PvPs, and maybe officially too, but that's kind of like I just kind of still do it if I want to, because I won't usually take a race in an event I don't like practicing, so I will never take up a race in Pyramix. I have not touched a Pyramix since the start of the year. I've not done a Pyramix solve since 2025, and I intend to keep it that way. But if I'm, like, right now I'm racing Jimmy Naismith to a sub 39 Megaminx single, and I have practiced Megaminx a slight bit more than I would have usually, because I would have usually just done, like, 3 blind or 3x3.
I think Pyramix is the only event where I have a chance of stopping you from nemesizing me.
I had your page open and I closed it. Wait, what? Let's see what you have.
460 single and 976 average. But
Yeah, you could definitely beat my single. I have a 4.3, and then 9.7. My average of 860 is pretty beautiful, and I don't care enough to practice pyramids. One of my friends, Henry K, he's pretty cool. The only event he has on me is Pyramix average, which is really funny because I'm an okay keeper, but I'm not an amazing keeper by any means. So being nemesized by me, I mean, quickly.
Yeah, well, I'm a bit far away from 15 average one-handed, but
You're trying.
yeah, I'm trying to get sub 20 first in comp, or
Yeah,
globally.
but you got a sub 20 earlier. That's
Yeah,
pretty good. Congrats.
which is funny because I wasn't even thinking of the average at that point, but
Yeah, that's just how one-handed is. You just forget about averages. You do that more in one-handed than I think in any other event.
yeah, I mean, I was just in the zone at that point, I think, but there's a funny story about my Pyramink single. I don't know if you know Glibvidmead.
Yes, I've heard of that guy. I love him.
Yeah, he's quite a bit faster than me in everything, and he sat next to me in Pyraminx. We were competing. He's like, "Let's race," and so we both started at the same time, and then I got a PR single and I beat him.
That's really funny.
Yeah, I think maybe
Whenever I race people, oh, sorry,
no, maybe I need to do that in every event.
yeah. Whenever I race people in comp, I just like start dying. So, I've like I raced not Jig Brown, sorry. Um, Rufus Cripps and Megaminx. I got a time that was like 9 seconds above PR. And Jake Brown square one, and I proceeded to get, I think it was a 24, which is really terrible when you have an 18 official average. What was it? Oh, sorry, no, it was 31.
Well, on the topic of racing, I was talking to Caleb Joshua Thomas earlier, asking what questions to ask you, and he asked about what you think about the new head-to-head format, which I think they're gonna do in Melbourne summer, like tonight, basically.
I don't know anything about it. I haven't thought about it at all. Like, I'm not someone who is going to be affected by it because, okay, I think the events are 3x3, 2x2, 3 blind, and 4x4, if I'm not mistaken, and one-handed.
Yeah.
But none of them are ever going to be like head-to-heads except 3x3 in the UK, and I don't plan on competing outside the UK. So, I mean, maybe in Ireland, that would be pretty, but not for the foreseeable. But yeah, I am not going to be making a 3x3 head-to-head final, which is basically only the KC finals, like at all ever, I think. So I've just not thought about it.
Fair enough. I mean, maybe you might watch it when you're there, I guess, but yeah. Wait, what are we doing blind? I think they mentioned doing it for blind, but there were like different rules or something about when they start.
I'm not sure. I don't. Yeah, I just don't know.
Okay, so
I,
yeah, now you're focused on Megaminx. What's your next comp? Is it Wiltshire March? I think you said. I'm gonna be there as well.
yeah, Wiltshire Spring. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
He has one round of measurements.
What are you aiming for them?
Okay, so Wiltshire Spring is a really funny competition because top 5 on site sheet is Aidan Granger, Sarah Derlick, Sophie Gilbert, me, Monty Fox, which is stupid because Sophie is 10 seconds faster than me, and I think I globe slower than Monty Fox. I don't know what Monty Fox globe is, but I would imagine he's faster than me. But how I'm fourth is a mystery, and I also think if either Sophie, Sarah, or Aiden decides to, if they were to either, well, if any of them DNF average, which doesn't happen, Mega, or if Sophie or Sarah both end up just completely failing to solve well, I could sneak in a third place, like with a 45 average. I know that under pressure, Megaminx can cause just like absolute headaches. Um, like people who average sub 40 can, if they're solving absolutely terribly, can get 47 averages. So if I were to get really, really close to overall PB, um, overall PB is 45 average, but if I were to get that and Sarah or Sophie were to get a 47, then I could podium, but I would feel really, really bad about it.
Yeah, you win the race because your opponent slips on a banana skin, basically.
What you took the metaphor.
I I was just wondering where Rufus PB would place, and then I realised he's not going to Wiltshire Spring. He's going to Stevenage Match. So I think,
Yeah.
yeah, you don't have to
Yeah,
race him.
Rich said he was going to go, but well, A, he's not registered, B, I don't think he will, and C, he would be fourth on site, so I'd be moved down to fifth, and I don't think I could, he, like, I don't think I'd have any chance at eking out a single podium, so, oh well.
It's maybe a good thing Mr. Mega is best isn't going there.
Maybe it's best, I do agree with him on that.
Yeah, it is one of my favorite events, but I don't practice it as much just because I'm slow and impatient. But it's like just more F2L basically, and F2L is my favorite part of 3x3. So
You're so real for that, F12 is so fun.
it's like the most creative and like on the spot improvised. It's not planned, it's not memorized. It's just figure it out when you're there.
Yeah, and then Megaminx, you do that times a billion. I mean,
Yeah.
Megaminx isn't like fully just like do F2L. You have to do some block building elements in order to be efficient. I know the pseudo S2L is becoming quite a big thing where let's say do you think more people do Eastland or Westland? So after yellow, do they go to blue or do they go to purple?
Most people go to blue. I briefly, on the advice of Alianta, went the other way because that's why what's his name from Argentina.
Leandro Martin Lopez.
Yeah, LML. That's what he does, and apparently that cuts out regrips or something like that.
Yeah, it does.
Obviously at my level it doesn't make a difference because I average like 2 minutes, but I thought it'd be easier to do it early than to have it really baked in and then try to switch.
Yeah, do it.
But I was slower for a while doing that, and then I caught up. And then in comp, I just like decided randomly whatever I saw first, I'd do that, and keep going east to west, basically. And that seemed to work.
I'll come back to that later, but
Alright.
pseudo S12 is where you use the F12 piece of use the edge piece of an F12 an S12 pair further up as your cross piece, so you don't have to go back and so you don't have to like bring it up and then solve it. I don't know if it works on Eastland, so I'm gonna do a Westland example. So it would be instead of using purple and light blue as your cross piece, you use green and light blue, and you move it into purple spot, and then you do the green purple light blue pair, and then you move it in with an F, and then you do your remaining pair. On S12 going east or west, whatever you see first, that's not used by many people at the top. I think I can only think of 2 people who actually do, and one of them is James McDiarmid, who is now a multi-grinder, but he's also, he's pretty decent at making things. I think he has a subplace here. I'm gonna check. James Mac. I think he might not, but I know Oliver Richards does a similar thing. I wouldn't recommend doing that because then you have, instead of 5 or 3 potential S2L pieces to look for, you're going to be looking for 10, which
Right.
just hurts your head so much.
I guess it like for 3x3, I'm white only, and so inspection is pretty simple. Just look for the white cross pieces. There's very few decisions in a way. I guess it's like a similar sort of concept. Because you're doing it's even more practical for Megamink because you're in the middle of the solve, right? Inspection you can take as long as you want, so it doesn't really matter if you take the 15 seconds.
I'm color neutral on 3x3, but you should really never really be color neutral on Megamix because, well, A, you have, so for F12, you have 12 possible stars to choose from.
Yeah.
That's too many. You have 15 seconds, so if you spend a second on, like, looking at each of them, you're like, oh, okay, I've just wasted most of my inspection. And then you have 2 seconds before you have to put your hands down to wait for the green light. And that's just not enough time to plan how you're going to do your star or your star plus one if you're...
Yeah, because you're looking for 5 pieces for each phase. You might as well come up with a good plan for how you're going to do that for one phase.
And then for S12, you still have like 5 bases minus like last layer but you still have to look at last layer because pieces are going to be there. You have 5 more faces to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You have 6 faces to look for pieces. And that's just like if you're seeing that and you're like, oh, red solved. Red's like 2 of the red crosshairs are solved, but so 2 of the yellow and 1 of the green. It's just going to confuse you. So and your look ahead is going to be terrible because when you're finishing up F2L, you're just going to instead of knowing what pieces you're going to go for. So I know a lot of top solvers, they go from white to yellow, starting with the green, yellow, blue block. Instead of looking for that, you're just going to be looking all around the tube for something that's decent but not amazing, which is
So do you do Eastland then?
I do Westland. I go from white to yellow to purple to green to blue and red, which is the better one. That is faster, and it also makes pseudo S12 possible. Which I mean, you can do pseudo S12 on Eastland.
But is it like lefty or something?
It's just kind of worse. If you are lefty, then use Eastland because it's the way Megaminx works. You want to be doing mostly R, U, and F moves. The way you're holding it, your left hand is the anchor hand, and your thumb will be over the L layer and the down left layer. So doing L moves, you'd have to regrip. But R, U, and F moves you can do however you want. It doesn't necessitate a change of grip. Sorry.
And did you do that from the start, or did you eventually switch?
I did not do that from the start. I started with Eastland because that's what Jason taught in this tutorial. I got faster with Eastland, and I was like, okay, I'd gotten to about a 51 average, officially, which was PB2 at the time. But I'd globaled like 55-ish with Eastland, and I was like, okay, I don't have a comp until I don't know when I will have a next comp, and I was in my head hoping it was UKC, but I wasn't sure if I was going. So I was like, okay, let's see how this goes. Let's see if I can get myself into fully purple mode, and I did it. I am now Western. Well, I only do Western in solves. I still think Eastland is cooler, but Westland is just like faster, so do that.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's probably a good thing that you don't have that many comps because in my case, I try to compete every month, and you know how they say that you shouldn't learn anything new just before a comp. So like a week and a half or whatever just before a comp, it's like okay, I'm not gonna learn anything new. So really, I have like 3 weeks to make any switch, and that's like right after finishing a comp. So that's why like in in comp I just switch back to what I'm comfortable with, or like I play it safe. Um, that's why I made like that last minute switch to like I saw the blue color pretty quickly, so I just went that way. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, I need to work on my just generally recognition on Megmix, just finding pieces without rotating all over the place. Um, like right at the start of S2L.
Yeah. Um, yeah, pieces are quite hard to find, but like do as you do more solves time different times, you'll learn to recognize. Okay, I'm nearing the end of F12. I should look for yellow pieces. So your brain will just start looking, like it will either make a mental note of, oh, there was a yellow cross edge there, or oh, I see the yellow. I can, after I've done the pair, I can just immediately pull it down into the thing. Um, my recognition is still kind of bad. My S12 specifically is a lot worse than my F12, like relatively. But yeah, that's an issue mostly with my look ahead and also with my efficiency. Improve efficiency by watching example solves and doing untimed solves, and improve look ahead by getting good. I don't know how to improve look ahead.
So what are you doing differently than people that are like high 50s or people that are low 40s or sub 40? Like, what is the difference at each level in terms of what you're actually doing as you solve the megabytes?
Okay, so for sub 30, I'm pretty close friends with Stephanie Rose Martin, and she yaps about Megamix quite often, and I pick up a few things from it. So sub 40, you have people planning star plus one or something star plus two in inspection. You also have um, a pseudo SQL being used nearly universally. So I know LML does it. I know Stephanie does. I know Aiden does. I don't know about Ziyu or Timothy Tarasenko. Um, but yeah, at the sub 30 level, you have all that like pseudo, and you have like a high amount planned in the inspection, and you have a lot of efficient block building techniques, and uh, I guess I don't think option select is the right word, but it's they know what is the best way to do each case, or whether to do like pseudo or not pseudo or whatever in that time. Between 35 and 30, I genuinely think the difference between that and someone who's sub 40 is um, who's like averaging 39 is just the ability to look ahead and familiarity with cases. Difference between someone who's sub 40 and um, in the 50s or in the like 40s to 50s is a knowledge of last day algorithms. So PLL for me takes anywhere from 8 to 10 seconds. For someone
Oh,
who knows full PLL, it's going to take close to 6, I would imagine. Um, so that was obviously cut down of about 4 seconds, and it's also people who are sub 40, they have a lot greater familiarity with the cases um, of the Megamix. So I also they also have higher TPS usually and better look ahead, so there's less pausing. Um, someone who's at my level, so like anywhere from 53 to 48, they're just kind of in a weird awkward zone of okay, you plan your full star in inspection, but you also kind of suck at SQL, and your SQL's kind of my SQL's I think not the worst in the world, but it obviously could be better. But my SQL is kind of terrible. I think SQL is the step you really want to get good at because it's meant to take up half your solve. So last year was meant to take up 1/6. SQL was 3/6. FQL was 2/6. So yeah, um, learning, or not learning per se, but example solves with SQL are really really useful. And
oh.
then between like 55 and 1 minute, it's more of the same. I think.
This the like splits seem kind of like 3 by 3 in the sense that most of it is going to be doing the first 2 layers, but a lot of the attention goes towards the last layer.
Megaminx has 410 large layer outs, which is 81 OLLs, 151 PLLs, and 178 OLLs. But from what I hear, the PLL recognition is both easy and hard at the same time. Which, I mean, for some cases like DPAMs, you have a 2x2 block and then a 1x3 somewhere else on the cube, which is really easy to be like, oh, okay, just do that. But if you get something like X4, I've heard absolute horror stories about X4, which is a PL case with no headlights and no blocks, and I don't think it has any pseudo blocks either. So it's just an absolute pain to recognize, and I know people like Stephanie who have just learned to recognize it from every angle. So just so their recognition isn't taking up a stupid amount of time.
That's insane. People that learn that many algs in Megaminx. Like, are there things like influencing you can do to cut down on how many algs you need, or is it not worth it?
I mean, you could forego learning dots, which is like usually fine because it's a 6 move setup to like a hook or a 9k, so F sexy F9, F inverse sexy F9 EOLs. But you could also, this is bad, you could learn ZU last layer, which cuts the number of algs down by 100, but your last layer becomes so incredibly inefficient that I think in one of ZU's world records, one of the solves, his last layer took above 60 moves, which is a whole 3x3 solve. Like, you don't want to ever be doing that.
Generally speaking, how many moves can a Megaminx be solved in by a decent Megaminx solver?
I think Aiden's world record was 170 something. So I'm gonna say like probably less than 200. I'm not entirely sure.
Right, so these low 20 singles, they're what, like 10 TPS or something?
I don't actually know if they're 10 TPS, but they're like really high TPS. But efficiency matters quite a bit more than TPS. But TPS is still obviously important. If we go back to Mega rankings, I know I've talked about her a lot, but Stephanie Rose Martin has a lot lower TPS than basically anyone else in the top 25, but she's really efficient, so she's WR7, and her NR average is still kind of bad for her. Timofey Tarasenko, he is a lot more inefficient, but he turns a lot faster and he doesn't pause. Like, his solving style is fairly rudimentary, but he's still fast. But in a high pressure situation, so like a championship final, say Euros finals, your turning is always going to be the first thing to go, and then it's going to be your look ahead, and then it's going to be your efficiency. So for someone as efficient as Stephanie, she's a lot better. She's going to be a lot better off in a really high situation moment. So something like Euros finals, or in like the final solve of a potentially world record average, you're going to be a lot better off being efficient than being like having high TPS. But still, work on all of them.
And LML, what are his sort of attributes when it comes to Megaminx?
He is really efficient, and he is stupidly committed to Megaminx. It's genuinely scary, because if you look at people in like the top 10, Timofey Tarasenko, he is
Good at everything.
Is what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
ZU's obviously really good at big cubes. LML, he doesn't. He has like 5 events on his profile. He has there's 3x3, 2x2, 4x4, FMC, one-handed, and Megaminx. And he's good at 2x3. He's got a sub 8 average. And then 2x2, he's nearly sub 2. 4x4, he has a 37 average. And then fierce moves, he has a 28 mean. One-handed, he has a 13 average. But Megaminx, he just, it's a whole different game. It's a whole different ballpark. Like, he is, except for FMC, his non-Megaminx events are around WR 1000. His FMC is WR like 300, 400. But his Megaminx is, well, it's his Megaminx. And then Vucic is good, but I think he does quite a few events. Like, yeah, he's good at, he has 5x5 New Zealand demo, which I didn't know about until just now. That was pretty cool. Tristan Young, I don't think has competed in a while. I shall check this, but he is former world champion. No, he competed in January 2026. He just hasn't beat his PR in 2 years. That's really sad. And then Aiden Rangers, good at big cubes. Stephanie's also good at big cubes, but LML is just completely different in terms of how committed he is to Megaminx, because that's one of the 5 events he does. It's like crazy. I know also LML is like learns a not insignificant amount of Megaminx ZBL, which is
What?
crazy.
I always find it interesting when there's people that are way more focused on some event that isn't 3x3. Because obviously 3x3 is like the gateway drug, right, to competitive cubing. And many people move on from there. And like 3x3 is not your favorite as far as I understand, but how did you get into cubing? And then what was the first event other than 3x3 that you got into?
Sorry, how did I get into cubing?
Yeah.
So in 2018, I saw Felix Zemdegs get 473, and I was like, that's really cool. And then I saw a bunch more cubing videos on YouTube, and I was like, I want to do that. So I asked my dad to get me a cube. It was a G Warrior W. So yeah, I played around for a bit. I managed to get 2 sides, which, you know, not how you solve cube, but I ended up breaking it, so I didn't touch a cube for 2 years. And then in late 2020, I was like, oh, hang on, I see more cubing stuff. I might actually do this. So I got a new cube. I got an MFTRS in 2020, but I got an MFTRS, and I learned to solve it the same day. It was, I think, December 26th, 2020. Or something, maybe December 23rd, I don't actually remember off the top of my head. But I learned to solve it, and I was like, okay, I'll keep on doing this. I did a one-handed solve when I was just starting out, and I was like, oh, okay, I kind of suck at this, because I, you know, hadn't practiced, and I didn't practice for a while. And after that, I was like, okay, oh, my birthday's coming up, I could probably, like, get a 4x4. So I got a 4x4. I tried solving it, I got parity, I tried taking apart the cube and reassembling it, and I couldn't reassemble it because 4x4 reassembly is, oh god, and it was a non-magnetic Megalon 4x4, so I didn't have any magnets to help me. So I was like, okay, I guess I'm just not going to do 4x4. And then I was like, okay, I could, and then I later on was like, okay, I want to get a Megaminx. Because I'm thinking, oh, it could probably help with my 3x3 after all. So for a time, the only events I could practice that I knew how to do were 3x3, 3x3 one-handed, and Megaminx. I then I then got a 4x4. I got 4x4, 5x5. Another 3x3 and some other stuff and a 2x2. at a similar time. So I was like, okay, I can I can do big keys now, and then like I got the other events later on. I got pyramids as well at some point. I got a smooth, but I started out doing just 3x3 one-handed movements, and then I didn't touch my guns for a while until later on. I was like, I really like the way the UP3 feels. I'm gonna get good at this event, and I ended up maining it this like nearer the start of 2023. Because Hampshire Spring was coming up, and I was like, okay, I want to make cutoff, and I also really like this event, so just I just really enjoyed it, and I decided get top NR 100, and I did. I got an NR 92 average or single, I don't remember, but I did it on my second solve. I got an NR. I got a 116.04 single, which was top 100, like not into. It was a like in our like high 80s 90s.
That's pretty cool. So like roughly about 3 years before your first comp, or like two years and a couple of months or something. Um, between learning to keep and your first comp and then doing that well.
I don't like I don't know how like I thought I didn't enjoy Megamix for a while. I got a sub 2 single with a soon PLL skip last layer, and I was like, oh, I'm happy with that. And then I didn't touch Megamix for a while, and then I was like, oh, I really like how this feels. And then I just got hooked.
And then after your first comp and you like met people there, were you like influenced into trying out different events than the one you texted?
No, not really. My first comp, I only really hung out with Cliff, who is someone who I met at school. So I didn't speak to many people in the like real cubing community. I only really started interacting with them when I joined the UKCA Discord, and my second comp was a year and a half later. Oh, sorry, 9 months later, and I was like, okay, actually, I was in my head. I was going to speak to the people that I'd seen on Discord, but I just didn't. I got cold feet. I remember seeing Sophie Gilbert and Sam Williams, and I was like, oh my god, those are the people that I've spoken to, but I didn't go up to them or speak to them at all because I was just a bit of a coward. And then in a VC a few months later, there was very specific wording. I mentioned that thing to Sam, and he was like, quote, you can come up to me, I don't bite. And that string of words just made me realize, why the hell am I so scared of speaking to people? Like, no one cares. So I ended up speaking to people. I ended up actually speaking to people on Hampshire Autumn, which was my third comp, and it's all changed. It's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I was pretty shy in my first few comps as well, when it came to speaking to people. But now I feel like I know a fair amount. It's very easy to get to know people and speak to them.
Yeah, it was. I think. I mean, technically speaking, the first real person I spoke to in, in cubing. I mean, real as in people who are active in the UKCA Discord. It was Yact, because I spoke to him at Hampshire Spring, but I just like he doesn't remember the interaction because at that time we were both small children, and it was 2 years. No, sorry, it was a year and like 5 months between when the last time we spoke and our next speaking. So he doesn't remember it because I looked quite a bit different, and he also did, and it was just me asking to try to cube, but that's kind of whatever. The first time I spoke to someone with knowledge of who they were prior to speaking to them was Sophie Gilbert at Hampshire Autumn, where she dragged me and Cliff to the middle table, and I couldn't be more grateful.
Yeah, I mean, I I mentioned this in chat, but like I saw you in Wiltshire winter. Like I saw a couple of people I know speaking to you, but yeah, for some reason I didn't. But we haven't actually spoken in person before, so next time, next Wiltshire.
Yeah. So I apologies if this is rude, but I'm very sorry. I just didn't know who you were. I think I remember running for you, but that's about it. But yes, now we know each other. I will speak to you.
And I'll show you my Megaminx solving. Well, I'll only show you if I'm fast enough to not try your patience.
Honestly, people who are faster than me try my patience. Not. I'm talking about someone in particular. They know who they are. I'm talking about two people in particular. They know who they are. But yeah, no. I don't mind so long as you're not faster than me, and also your solutions are also terrible. If you're slower than me, I don't really care. I will look at your solutions and not necessarily have as big a mental breakdown as if they were faster than me.
Yeah, I mean, it's only just starting to click for me some of the ways that Megaminx is different that you can take advantage of, um, with like block building and stuff. I'm still just doing CFOP almost, so I'm not really seeing the good solutions yet. But I do want to get there. Like with 3x3, my thing is efficiency more than TPS. I'm just not going to turn as fast as the young kids, but generally have good solutions. But I haven't quite gotten there yet for Megaminx. I think that's enough
Yeah,
to really enjoy it.
yeah. Megmink's solution efficiency is like a really fun thing to work on, but it's also kind of annoying when you have just like a terrible case and you're not sure what to do. But Megminx is really fun, and I think it's the best event for the majority of people. Multi is very, very fun. I think it's my favorite event, but it's only really good if you're, well, like a blinder. So if you really like blind, and B, have like have enough desire for it. But Megminx is like cited. It takes less time. Like every attempt isn't going to take an hour or more, or less if you're good. But yeah, multi is the best event for like me and people like me, and Megaminx is the best event for everyone else.
Since you like the block building side of Megaminx, what do you think of Rue, the free black thing?
I see. I've thought that one quite a bit, and I'm like, okay, I could switch to it for one-handed because the two-gen reduction is better. But the problem is, Rue has a really annoying gliding spot in DD, and it's really hard to see, especially when your cube is pressed up to the table to do angles. And I'm like, block building without centers to anchor on is a lot harder than block building with centers, because if I do a Rue solve, first block doesn't necessarily have to have its centers matching it, except for like the let's say you're doing the first block from like up in front. Um, it's like the only center you need to worry about is the orange center, but the other ones can be an M and an M2 and an M prime away.
Yeah.
But I really hate not having the center to like orient myself and like understand my EO with. Um, and I'm getting better at it because the way I recognize EO is kind of poor for Megaminx, but I have been trying to switch it to both the way I'm used to and also the new way that's slightly better for Megaminx. I
I wonder if that's a consequence of recognition working differently because you're color neutral, right? Whereas if someone was dual or single, then you don't have to match by senses to know which way is oriented as much.
Yeah, I'm fully colored from 3 by 3, and I very much use sensors to help with my orientation, understanding, and then a similar thing goes for mechanisms.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense. Like it, when you started, being color neutral was all the rage, right? That was before Yihang and Shuanyi were like duals all you need.
I wouldn't necessarily describe it as rules of rage because you still had pretty good people who weren't colored.
Yeah, you had like Lucas
Like
Better.
Rayhan.
Oh yeah,
Uh, I was a bit more for Rayhan. Lucas Etta was colored, but he had. I think he had quit by the time I'd known to Soul 3 by 3.
yeah. I think he
I
like briefly
started
came back
being.
or something for Monkey League, right?
Sorry?
I think he like briefly came back for Monkey League or something like that.
I'm not sure. When I started, I wasn't really too concerned about color neutrality. What happened was, when I started, I was like, oh, I remember solving my first side on whichever color I wanted to. What if I do that for cross? So I did it for cross, and then I did it again. And then it was really easy. So I just did whatever cross color I felt like, and I'm very thankful because now I can do whatever cross color I want.
That's a good thing. I mean, when I started off, I sort of learned it a couple of different times, a couple of different ways, and a lot of the tutorials were just had white cross, and so it was like, okay, let me just start with a white cross so I can have the same example that you're showing me. And at some point, I just got good enough with white only that, like, literally now, if I do a color neutral solve, he's slower than me doing it one-handed with white. So
Yeah, I think dual neutrality is like definitely better than single neutrality. Dual neutrality versus six colors neutrality is slightly different because when you have six colors, obviously you can take advantage of, say you have a block, or like a 2 by 2 by 3 block on uh, red, or like red's
yeah,
yellow. Being single neutral means you can't take advantage of that at all. Being dual neutral means you can take advantage of red or yellow. Oh,
yeah,
sorry. Dual neutral means you can only take advantage of yellow. But if red has that 2 by 2 by 3, but also has a really easy cross edge plus 2 after Lopez, and yellow has something abysmal, you could just do red. And then last layer is last layer. Easy.
yeah. I think Timon was saying that if you're dual color neutral, then um, any block you can partake in it basically because it's either going to have yellow or white the corner. Um, like there's more advantage of being single, but like less so for learning the remaining colors.
Yeah. I think like because like if the white or yellow continuation is god awful, you may as well just go for a better color, so red in that same example, because let's say red had like I'm scrambling up the key, but let's say it had one move to solving the cross edge plus two rotationless pairs. That would be a lot better than a um, flipped yellow edge and also like two rotation pairs. But that's like kind of whatever.
When you when you're done with like solves, do you remember which cross color you did? Because I remember Felix saying sometimes he doesn't.
I not really know. I mean, you can look at your top center and be like, okay, I assume that's the last A color I did, but you don't really think about what cross color you start with because it becomes second nature in the same way that um I mean you would obviously know that you ended with um that you did yellow that you did white cross, but you would just like it wouldn't be something that sticks out to you.
Makes sense. Um, right, do I have any more questions for you? Yeah, you were the final person in the UK to get a free blind meal
That is correct.
before they switched to getting averages.
Yeah. Yeah, that was crazy.
Were you, were you aware of it as you did it? Like,
I was not aware of it when because I was just going for a mean for my own profile because I was like, okay, I started doing blind really late and I was like, do I just go for a mean and have it on my profile before they switch? And I was like, yeah, yeah, screw it, why not? So I decided to opt for safety for me. I average sub 130 when I'm going fast. I got a 3 minute mean. My best single was 257. But I remember Solve 1, I was very confident I accepted DNF, but I didn't. Solve 2, I was not confident in, but I did it. Solve 3, I remember having odd edges and even corners or something, or the other way around. So if you know 3 blind, that's not possible. So I had to retrace 2 or 3 times, and I had to worry about the cumulative time limit, which to hit it, I think I would have had to get like a 3 minute 40. Um, so I had to retrace, and I end up executing really slowly. And when I put my hands down on the timer, I was like, I kept my blindfold on because I didn't want to know if I'd done it or not. Well, I wanted to know, but I didn't want to see a DNF. So I was like, oh, please, please, I take it off, and I've done it, and I'm really happy because I'm the, I, this was the last possible opportunity for me to do it. And the way, the way it works, Group 1 had abysmal scrambles, from what I'm told. So the only person in Group 1 who got an average, who got a mean, sorry, was Sophie Gilbert, who got like a 1.0 something average. And then in Group 2, which was the group I was in, Ryan Exley also got an average, but he was the first one to finish in the group. And I, and the only other person to get an average to get me in the group was me. So uh, it's guaranteed that I have the last mean ever done in the UK. Now, last mean ever done by a Brit was still up in the air because Noah Calder and Kamata also got into Mexican Championships, and I he made free flying finals, which I didn't expect him to do, but he got 2 out of 3, which was so close, but he just wasn't enough. Which I mean I feel bad saying I'm thankful for, but like I think that's my most notable achievement in tubing.
okay, and so what is uh, do, what's your goals? What are your like? I want to achieve these, or do you not really think like that, other than trying to race someone?
I mean, short-term goals. I have like 4x4 for big cubes. Usually, I have short-term goals. So currently, my goal for 4x4 is sub 40 global, or like make finals or whatever. Um, for something like 3 blind, because I'm learning such a large alg set, I have a big end goal of wanting to, uh, if not be sub 20, get multi-blind NR, which I mean it's not my end goal in queuing, but really, really would like multi NR. But obviously that's 33 points, and that's really hard.
Yeah.
Because my PB right now is 6, and then I have an 11 out of 16, and I'm gonna do one today, probably tomorrow, just to see how that goes. But yeah, for blind, I want to at least get one multi NR, and my general goal for cubing is just like have fun, meet people, make friendships. Because no joke, cubing is like the best thing to ever happen to me, and I all the people I've met because of it is it's crazy, and I love them all. So yeah, that's pretty awesome. I thank you greatly.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad it's a thing now because I've been cubing for a while, but for a long time it was like a solo hobby where pretty much no one I knew in person did it. And then, yeah, by the time I competed, I was like, way older than most people, pretty much. But it's very easy to make friends there that know what you're talking about, right?
Yeah,
For this obsession that was so weird for everyone else.
yeah. I think it was quite easy for me because when I first entered secondary school, I had Cliff who also cubed, and I didn't actually realize like how much that helped in terms of my cubing social aspect because he was the person to tell me about Hampshire Spring, about the first Hampshire comp, and I was like, okay, I want to go to this. And then I saw on the website, I was like, oh, wait, hang on, it has a UK Cube Association Discord. So I joined that, left that, rejoined that, and that's when everything changed forever. And I met all the people, and now I have friends who I could not imagine life without. Also, people who live quite close to me. So, like Sophie, who is also like she's the reason I've gone to most of my cons because and also spoke to people because obviously that interaction at Hampshire Autumn where she dragged me to the table with the four people, but also she took me to Wiltshire Spring, 2025. She also um, was the person to, well, her and her dad and mum were people who took me and Harry from our accommodation to the UKC venue each day, and we also, she also took me to Winter 2025, um, which was the con where I pulled off the sub-4 average and the 3.0. And she's also taking me to Spring 2025. Sorry, 2026. So I genuinely, I could not be more thankful for Soph. She is awesome. Soph is awesome. We all love Soph.
Yeah, I think I've seen Sophie around, but I don't think I've talked to her. But I'll say hi next time.
Yeah, Soph is awesome.
Are you going to Euros by the way?
No. It would not be feasible at all for me to go to Euros. I'm not sure if I'm going to UKC this year. I hope to, but I'm not sure. I've had people like ask if they want to do a accommodation with me for Euros, but I'm not going. So quite a bit annoying, but oh well.
Yeah, I mean that's fair. It's like you said, it's kind of better to be in your bed as well. But I'm going there, but I haven't decided on accommodation yet. They're considering doing like a campground thing, but I'm not really a big camper. But
Yeah, I could not imagine camping. That sounds. Oh god.
but yeah, I think those are all the questions I had for you. It's good to talk to you. Was there anything you wanted to say? Maybe plug your channel, your vlog, or something like that.
Shop at Aldi.
Yeah, can't go wrong with Aldi.
Yeah, we love Aldi. Plug my channel, you say. Yeah, I have a YouTube channel. I do competition vlogs. The Wiltshire one will be coming out sometime this year. I'm not entirely sure. I'm trying my best to edit it, but I have a lot of stuff. We also upload videos like what videos do I upload? because you have the vlogs. What else do we have? Um, we have Jake Brown filming my first 3 line success officially, and that's a short. We have sometimes where I post averages that I've done, so like my 3x3 PR average or my clock PR average. We have Ali Antar slander. We have um, Tom Nugent's final solve at UKC. Um, we also have Aldi simping, which is completely valid. We love Aldi. We love Aldi simping. Yeah, that's it. Oh well.
All right. Well, I'll put that in the description. It was good to meet you, Aldi, and
Good to meet you too.
yeah, I look forward to seeing you in Wiltshire Spring.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome. And if anyone watching to the whatever number of people who listen to the Yact podcast are watching or listening, do Megaminx, do multi-blind. Those are the 2 best events. You don't need to do any other events. Throw away all your other cubes. Only own 3x3s and Megaminxes, and maybe a 6x6. But other than that, just do those events.
Okay, I'll start with Megaminx. I need to learn I need to be able to do free blind consistently first before I can do multi.
Do both at the same time. Also shop at Aldi.
All right, you heard the message.
Yes, shop at Aldi. I will not stop saying that.
They need to start selling Megaminxes.
Yeah, when I become Aldi CEO, I will, you know.
Yeah, you should write them an email. You should say, "Look, I'm obviously qualified for this."
Oh god, I don't. I have the qualification of like I have the same qualifications to for what sells at Aldi as like an owl, and an owl does not know what to sell at Aldi.
Well, I mean, you can say I was literally born for this.
I was born for this. I was born ready. Apparently there is a route to do that sale on some albums, but I haven't seen it. So
I'll let you know if I find one.
I don't know where it would be. It would probably be in the Isle of Aldi, the Middle Isle. Or maybe in one of the like one of the places with like the Aldi trainers that I wear to every month. Maybe.
Huh. Probably like a seasonal thing, maybe. Christmas.
Perhaps. Oh yeah. Shout out the UKC venue and the Wiltshire venue for having an Aldi so close by. No joke. I think Aldi helps me get a sub average because usually when I have usually at lunch in competitions I just go to Greg's because it's like, oh, cheap, yummy. But I was like, okay, every time I have Greg's for lunch I end up performing really badly. So I just decide, hey, I'll skip the Greg's for Wiltshire Winter Saturday, and I decided to go to Aldi, and I got some Aldi food, and I ate the Aldi food, and then got sub 4. So I think Aldi is, like, getting an Aldi, like, salad thing, and an Aldi milkshake gets you sub 4 o'clock. It's had a 100% success rate for me, so.
All right, we have some food superstitions here.
Yes, I've yapped about this, and people have used the word superstition, but it like genuinely works. I don't know how else to say it. It just works.
Your lucky glove, or do you remember Leo's Milo? Leo Borromeo.
Oh yeah.
He stopped taking it, and I think that explains things.
Yeah, I think that instead of Milo, my equivalent would just be the Aldi shop milkshakes that are like 50p, because they are really good. Like no one tells you this, but they are like amazing. And I don't understand how how few people talk about it. But then again, people don't tend to talk about milkshakes, so
Yeah, unless if they're commenting on someone's stream that they have a milkshake there.
I like milkshakes. I like Aldi. I know you can't tell, but I do quite like Aldi.
Really, I had no idea. It's not in your profile picture or anything.
It's not. It's not like it's my middle name. It's not like they call me Aldi.
Well, good luck on getting multi-blind, and let me know how your attempt goes tomorrow.
I'm doing one today, but yeah,
Ah,
I will tell you about the attempt today and tomorrow.
And in honor of that, I'm gonna do just a regular free blind attempt.
That's good. That's good. That's progress. We love that.
If I do that like every day, then yeah, maybe I'll get it. I've only had like 3 successes at home, so
Yeah, you will. You will.
yeah. My issue is just patience. I just don't have the patience to do big cubes or spend time I don't have the patience to not be good at things, basically.
Yeah, that's why you put in a bit of patience now, and then you don't have to have it later.
Yeah, I know if I did that, then I'd get to that other level.
Just like do the improvement, get the improvement, and suddenly, oh, my worst event is like not that long. And I'm actually that's a lie because FMC and multi are both an hour. But um, if you're impatient, just do Mega Mix instead because Mega Mix is a beautiful event and we love Mega Mix.
Yeah, I mean, I still have to get used to which way was it? Yellow then purple.
Yeah, yellow, purple, that direction.
Yeah, I still need to get used to that. So still need to catch up.
Yeah, yellow, purple. It also there's a lot more resources for yellow, purple than there is for yellow, blue. So do with that what you will. In Megaminx there's also Udeshian, which is about the same speed as Westland and faster than Eastern, but there are fewer resources on it, so people tend to just go with Westland instead of Udeshian.
Yeah, I think Felix mentioned it in his channel on Cube Skills. That's where I learned most of what I do.
Yeah, he also mentioned Balin, which is a terrible method that no one should ever do. Luke Garrett used it, and I don't. If you have any level of Megaminx competence and you see Luke Garrett solves, you will just start crying.
Yeah, but Luke Garrett is built different.
I don't.
He can
Like-
do.
The man gets a 25 with M2 OP officially, and he also uses Balin for Megaminx. He got really good at clock with Flip, which he did eventually switch to 7th level, which is still kind of like crazy. What other weird stuff has he done? One-handed world record with the inconsistent method with CFOP. I use CFOP for one-handed, but it's really inconsistent, at least compared to Rue. I think the top 2. I've read this somewhere, but I will just check it again. Like in the top 10 one-handed averages, like results, not rankings. Luke Garrett has 1, Max Park has 1, them Steve users. Notcher has 4, Root user. Eden, I don't actually know what he uses. Sean Patrick Villanueva and Andre Cherry are both I think they're both Root users, and then Druva has one in the top 10, which is Seafop. Oh, and also Zen Chen has a top 10 average, but it's tied, so I didn't notice it. I think he uses Seafop. I'm not entirely sure, but yeah, like the people with Seafop have one average in the top 10, but the people who don't use Seafop, who use Rue, sorry, have multiple usually. And by usually I mean just for Nacho, because Sean Patrick Villanueva, he's good, but he's not got. I think his 8.09 was former world records. I'm not entirely sure, but yeah, the Rue users are a lot more consistent than the Seafop users.
I feel like even though Nicholas Archer is now world record free, I feel like he's just consistently the best ahead of everyone else at the moment.
That's because it's true. Yeah.
Like
He got the fastest one-handed time ever done in the World Championship with the 6:05 single. Nacho's like, I don't understand how he's so good and yet just fully does not react, which makes me kind of worried for how good he is at home. Because if a 7.95 one-handed average officially is like, oh, cool, world record, then what the hell does he average at home?
I think it's scary. Like the fact that there's so much overlap between his OH times and his 3x3 two-handed times is also a bit like he doesn't need that other hand.
Yeah, like he got PR single in 3x3 UKC finals, but before his 551 he had 553, and before that he had 574, which was it was before Worlds, but like he got a time that was like 0.29 slower than his well, that's a lie. I apologize, but he got a time that was only a half second slower than his 3x3 PL single at World Championship first round, and his 3x3 average is like a second and a half off his one-handed. Not for his genuinely so scary.
Yeah, he's a legend.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I understand that, man. It's crazy.
It's complete, and it's, the way he's complete opposite of Luke Garrett when it comes to reacting is pretty fun as well.
Yeah. Reactions are really fun. I mean, you obviously have Luke Garrett with everyone else's reactions. Not just got a nothing reaction. I think reactions to like I've had some pretty notable reactions in my time. Like 480, you have the video of it, and it was wild. You also have 388, which I didn't get on video, but it was me jumping around for a bit. I think I was over the moon. But I think the most significant one of my own personal reactions was to my 9.97 3x3 average on the last solve, because I timed at peaks and I was doing T-perm at like midnight, so I was like, okay, got this in the bag, and I sliced it, and you can just hear me shout no, and I knew I was the last one solving, so I was like, okay, I can have whatever the hell reaction I want to this, because
you're not going to disturb anyone.
Oh my god. And it was I don't even have words for it, because in the moment I was distraught, because I was like, okay, that's not it. I'm so done. That's not sub 10, because I got a 10.02 average the previous round, and I was like, that's not sub 10, bro. When am I gonna have a shot at this? And when I said no, the whole venue went quiet because I just said it that loudly. It was like it was such a loud thing that you could hear it from across. Billy Hamble, like me and her were on different ends of the venue. I was at the sorting station. She was like at back left, and what happened was she heard me say like shout the no because I was just so sad. But then after that, after the sadness, I was like, okay, I will still calculate the average. So I add up the counting times on my phone. I'm like, okay, 9.29 plus 8.96 plus 11.67. I add them up, I see 29.92. And divide that by 3, you get 9.97. And as soon as I saw 29.92, I was like, oh my god, thank god. Because that was just barely something. And I'm so happy that, yeah, I think that's my favourite reaction. Because everyone, no joke, everyone was surrounding my table. And because there were no other people, I could, like, be as loud as I want. But I I would do anything to relive that moment.
Such a big milestone as well. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
what do you global for 3x3?
Sorry?
What do you global for 3x3?
Like low mid 10 if I'm, locked in.
Nice. Yeah, I'm like 12ish.
I think I did improve slightly at 2x3 by just seeing people reconstruct world record videos, and I was like, oh, I could do stuff like that. So I started doing stuff like that. That's basically all my 2x3 improvement has been.
They're fun, yeah. I don't get what these top people do in the cross, how they see what they see. But from F12 onwards, it's like, okay.
Yeah, just last time.
I mean, the top people these days, they plan the cross so far, but they just set up a bunch of repairs. So it's not like they're being smart enough to well, they're just like giving themselves an easy one.
So that is still being smart, I'd say.
Oh, they're being very smart, but they're being smart during cross, right?
Yeah.
And then they have like,
I do try and do something like that.
yeah, I mean, maybe like a year ago, like when Yihan got his like 420 average or something. I think he only planned like first pair or two, and then he was having like, and then afterwards he was being clever with F2L and influencing and stuff like that during the solve.
I'll be honest, every evening world record after like 4.48 had just merged into the same one for me. Except for the first sub 4, which was I think 3.9. It was either 3.97, 3.92, or 3.91, but it was 3.9 something, and it was just like, okay, we're screwed because who the hell is gonna bring sub 4 except Yihang? And then we get Zhuan Yi becoming the greatest 3x3 solver of all time for some reason. So we now have double Zhuan Yi world record, which is not something anyone would have predicted at the time of Yihang's first world record.
No, I mean, I remember what world records used to be like, and it was like, I could do that if I could turn that fast when Max would get a world record. And then Timon would do something, and it's like, okay, that's just genius. I have no idea how he sees that.
I mean, he does quite a bit of pseudo stuff, and pseudo FQL is like, I can sometimes see it, and sometimes I will like put something in to do a pseudo pair, but it's still mad how he's able to A, do it consistently enough to get sub 5 like regularly, and B, like recognize it so quickly, because obviously you're meant to recognize ZBL with using Geo, but that's still really quite hard. Because you obviously don't have like a sensor to anchor off the point, so you just kind of
have to take like a long pause when I do pseudo just to like because everything I know about EO is flipped at that point. Like everything I know about matching the corner to an edge, it's like, oh yeah, diffuse the matching colors. Not when it's pseudo.
Yeah, don't. Pseudo, from what I understand, you're meant to use the wrong so-called wrong pairing is the method of consequence.
That makes sense. And I think EO is one of those things I need to work on to do cross plus one better or at all.
Yeah, that's very bad.
Yeah, it's gotten to a point where it's like if you give me a scramble, a world record scramble, the solution like the cross I come up with, it's not going to be anything like what they did because they're just like planning so much further. Whereas it used to be like if you give me I don't know a minute or something, then maybe I'll find what they did in cross. If they did white. Um,
Yeah. I, I mean, I really thought that because by the time I started caring about world records, um, they had gone far too advanced. I mean, maybe, I guess, breakdowns for 548 I could have found, but that would be with my current knowledge and the knowledge I had from it, because
yeah.
um, I was about half a year.
You ever look back on like an old soul from like Felix or something?
No,
Okay, well, I'll end this with one last question. A big bottle, a big can of worms. Who's your favorite cuber?
who is my favorite pizza?
Yeah.
Um, okay, I'm gonna have to split this up into people I've met, people I'm friends with, and people who I admire. Because in terms of people who I admire, you obviously have Felix. Like that's you just can't have Felix there all the time, every time. Um, you also have Roy Hung, just because he's so cool. We all love Roy Hung. There was one other person I was going to say. Oh, remember his name. I don't. I don't remember.
Give me a continent.
It's fine. But it's whatever. Um, but people who I've met, but I'm not like overly close with. Um, Jake Brown, Ryan Eppersley. I mean, I'm pretty close with Jake, I'd say, but I think they fall into that category. So like, Jake Brown, Ryan Eppersley, Bertie Longton too. He's just really quite cool. Um, and like that kind of those kind of people. And my favorite. See, if I say my favorite keeper in terms of like people who I'm close with, it would just seem like I'm ranking my friends, which I feel really bad about doing. So I'm gonna leave that one open. Someone can someone can take that because I'm gonna feel bad if I get someone.
That's fair. I think most people's lists are going to include Felix. Well, maybe it depends on when they started cubing, I think, but you have to consider Felix.
Yeah, I think this brings up a discussion on who is the greatest cuber of all time because you have either Felix or Max. Like you could pick someone else like Timon, but I'm gonna say no. Just due to Max and Felix are like some of the only people with above 60 world records. Felix obviously has 121, and Max is I think 80 something. But I'm gonna make the argument that Felix is a better keeper just because he's had world record in more events. Like Max, he's had it in every end by end except 2x2 and also in 2x2 one-handed. Oh, sorry, Max is 90 world records. But for someone like Felix, he's had world record in every end by end, I think, including 2x2. I need to pull up his page.
Wait, he had 2x2 world record.
Sorry?
Wait, he had 2x2 world record.
I think single at some point. If not, like, something OCR, if I log onto his record page. Yeah, he had 2x2 world record average 2.25. In But yeah, he's had it in every end by end, and also in one-handed and in full blind, which I think is just like because he's had it in more events, and the events aren't all the same because 2x2 is very different to 3x3, which is very different to 4x4. But 4x4 to 7x7 are quite similar, and then full blind is nothing like any of the end by ends. And he also had Megaminx OCR for a bit, and he's like he's just really like he's good at all the look ahead events. He's not, and also he has a 5 blind and an 11 out of 11 multi, which is that's pretty good in 47 minutes. So he could realistically go up to I think 15 likely. Yeah, but I think Felix's breadth of expertise is more impressive than Max's. Like 7x7 has more transferable skills to 6-5-4, 6-5-4 than Felix's 5x5 domination would have had full blind or Megaminx. But they're still obviously Megaminx and 5x5 are very similar in terms of how much you need to look ahead, how long they are. So that's something to think about.
Yeah, I mean, I met Felix in QB therapy. He's a very cool guy. And partially because I'm older, partially just because he had like a longer dominance. I think he's taken things further from when he started, right? Where sort of, he's the giant whose shoulders people now are standing on in terms of like, developing techniques and getting things as far as they can.
Yeah. I've now just remembered people who I admire. I've technically met him once, but I'm not going to count him in there. The other person is Kieran, just because he's just horrifying. He's amazing. We
Kieran Behan?
love Kieran. Kieran Behan. He's just really nice. He's Kieran. I don't know what else to say.
Yeah, you shook his hand, right?
Yes. Yeah, that's the only time I met him, and it's just kind of a thing I do every time. I just rank people's handshakes. So your handshake will be ranked the next time we meet.
Okay. All right. Well, I think we've answered the big questions. Now we know who you admire the most, except from your friends. We haven't started a war here. They can figure out how to bribe you into saying that they're first for a future date. All right. Well, yeah. Thank you, Aldi, and I'm gonna link your channel in the description.
Yes,
And yeah, it's just fun talking to you. First time.
Yeah, first time too. It's been really fun. I've enjoyed this very much.
I'll try to edit it over the next couple of days, and then I'll post it on YouTube and probably link it in the self promotion channel. Yeah,
Yeah. Would you would you perhaps like to do a little race, see if you can get this out first, or if I can get my Wiltshire Winter Vlog out first?
Yes, that would motivate me because I don't like video editing. But if I'm racing someone, then
Yeah, yeah, you have to win.
yeah, exactly. It's like I could,
I can't wait to see this. Thank you very much for doing this. Oh, this has been awesome. Thank you for listening, viewer.
yeah, thank you for being this first non-Joshua on the podcast.
Now we need to get someone who um. Is there any common thread between us? Um. Um. We have an A in all the ones, so
No. Okay.
yeah, I don't think you can find people without an A in their name.
My next guest doesn't have an A in his name.
Ooh, do we get to know? Do we get to know?
I'm keeping his name a secret, but you'll see his channel name. So,
Oh, okay.
yeah, but his channel name also does not have an A. So,
Ooh, okay.
yeah,
Good to know.
secret identity protected.
Very secret.
All right, well, thanks for being on. See you around.
Yes, I'll see you later. Bye-bye.